Hello. I haven't went live in a long time. I was trying to wait for this to go down. I got bit in the head by a mosquito. But anyway, let me type out this. I don't even know what to call it, so I ain't gonna call it nothing. What's up, princess? Princess and Tyrone, who's not Tyrone. Go to bed, Joseph. I wish he was local. I wish he was close. Cause you just be having me. Ain't too many people can make me laugh like my real good ugly laugh, and you one of them. You know what? I just was saying as I was gonna say something about my detox, and it was like, oh, that's a word. So that's why I was like, let me just get on here real quick. Anyway, I hope you're doing good. Crazy. But as y'all know, like 2 weeks ago, I had started a detox, right? Well, it's just you right now, so I'll talk to you. I did a detox, and I was laughing at you, feeding for French fries, and then a week later, I was shaking and detoxing in the corner. But I did pretty good. The first 4 days, I did well, strict. Lost like 8 pounds, and then I started eating like fruits and stuff here and there because it was hard for me not eating anything, right? And then messed around, finished the detox, and was like, "Ooh, I want me a slice of pizza." And I didn't realize, like, when I detoxed, like, my body really was like, "Oh, cool, she's changing her ways." The cheese made me not just forget going to the bathroom and having diarrhea. The cheese made me, I was nauseous, like, wanted to throw up. And I was like, damn, like, that quick? Like, whatever. And then today I ate a little piece of like a hot link, and my stomach was like, "Oh, you acting stupid again." I was like, "Damn!" Like, hey, Slim Slow. I was like, "Damn, my stomach is tore up." I went to theme park today, Knott'sberry Farm. But anyway, I was just, drawing the correlation between, real physical life and spiritual life. And I was like, damn, how many times have we did good in a period of time of leaving somebody out of our diet or out of our life or a certain behavior? Like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm not even going to think negative no more, or whatever it is. And then after a while of not doing it, you go back to trying to do it, and you don't even realize like how sick you get. Even if it's a physical response or the stress that happens or a headache from messing with that person again. Dairy always makes me nauseous, which is why it was easy to leave behind. And you know what I think? I think that I made it so much a part of my regular routine that when I took it away and went back, I just thought I would jump back in it, and I did not. So I guess as of now, like, I don't eat cheese anymore. And let me tell you, ain't nobody more blown away than me about that. And my husband said to me today, Lance was like, "Hey, I'm kind of glad you got sick eating that cheese because the last like 6 months, I've really eased up off of cheese and you keep buying it." And I'm like, "Okay, well, the kids like it and she eats it, whatever." He was like, "But I'm kind of glad because it ain't good for you." And so I just tell that to say, be careful of when you, like, say it's somebody in your life that's hella toxic, right? And this could be an auntie, this could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, friend, sister, brother. You go without that person. Hey, thanks, princess. You go without that person. And then they come back into your life and you find yourself like stressed or sick. And you don't even notice it because that sickness or level of toxicity is so normal to you that when you step back into it, it's like you don't even notice it's harming you. I was just like, damn. So if you're joining me, I'm just saying, like, through the detox, I noticed that eating dairy made me sick. I tried to go back and eat some cheese, pizza, and some other stuff. Even meat. Even eating the meat, I noticed I was like having stomach cramps and stuff like that. And I was like, damn. So all that to say, I really do think I'm done with dairy and cheese. I'm a little bit sad and scared because I didn't know what happened. I didn't realize it would happen this quick. Like, damn, I don't eat cheese like that no more. The kids are a little bit taken aback because they're like, "Oh, we like cheese," but I'm like, I told them, I'm like, "You guys are athletes now, and you're trying to, get the best performance out your body. You got to give your body the best, resources, the best fuel." So tonight we were gonna have mushroom tacos. So you take the mushrooms and you cook it like it's meat and make a regular taco, but that's extra money. I'm like, let me go home and eat what's in the house. So what we had was breakfast. Now, normally I would make pancake mix from scratch, flour, baking powder, egg, butter, milk, whatever. Sometimes buttermilk because I have buttermilk in there. But I made pancakes from bananas and eggs. So you take one banana and you mash it with a fork real good. I have a hand whisk I use, and then an electric hand whisk. And then you add 2 eggs. So for every banana, you add 2 eggs. And I made banana pancakes. No flour, no sugar. I just added some cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. And Junior does not eat eggs. So he ain't even know he was eating eggs. And he was like, this is good. I had hash browns, so I panned, fried, or not fried, but sauteed the hash browns. So you put a little, like 1 tablespoon of any type of oil, fat you want. Now take a meat press and put on top of the hash browns, get them crispy. I made some eggs for me and Jada, an egg for her, egg for me. And I did have a piece of sausage because I'm trying to eat what's in the refrigerator. But, and that's what we have for dinner, breakfast, for breakfast, dinner. And like I said, I'm factoring out, I'm taking out flour from our diet slowly. I'm taking out extra sugars, stuff like that. But this live was just to kind of encourage you to look at, I'm not saying everybody got to detox and go vegan, vegetarian. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm doing it for my family because I think that's the best thing that they can do to be good athletes and good students. But then the other thing is, I'm thinking about when we detox from people in our life and then we let them come back in and we don't even pay attention to the symptoms, like where life is telling us this person do not need to be around you. Every time this person come around, or you think of this person, or you go to that place, because for some of y'all it's your job, you need to leave your job alone, but you're too scared of what's going to happen if you leave, and you get sick, and you are currently sick, and you don't even know life outside of that sick feeling. You don't even know life outside of waking up being frustrated or irritated, because every morning you wake up, you frustrated, irritated because that person or that place, or that thing. This last week, the last maybe 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, Brenner, as my kids call it. These last 2 weeks, I was on like a fast of not just the food, but I haven't made any YouTube videos. I haven't made any Instagram funny videos. I haven't worked on no script. I haven't worked on no book. I haven't stressed about that stuff because I needed to just take time to say, if I don't do nothing, will God continue to bless my life? And I know for some of you guys, it's hard to think like that because, like, well, Kat, your husband works and I have to get up and go to work. And I get that. But what would it look like if you allow God to talk to you on a regular basis and give you instructions? Because for some of you guys, your breakthrough is not really you waiting on God to do something. It's really you taking a leap of faith for something you're supposed to do. Like, you're supposed to move the next chess piece on the board, and you're not because you feel like it's just impossible. So I encourage you to, figure it out with God, pray about it. One of the best things to do in your life to hear God better is to silence things and people. So first thing you think about is like social media and TV, but even the idea of being on a consistent, disciplined schedule. So getting up every morning at 6, no matter what. Like for some of you have to get up like that, but for some of us we don't, and we're very inconsistent. So when I was on the detox and I was like detoxing and drinking my smoothies and stuff, I was getting up no matter what at 6. And it taught me how to maximize with the least parts of my day, which means like you don't have to have a new notebook and a new phone planner and the best gym membership and the best quality food. Like, can you maximize with what you have? Can you get up on time? Can you make your bed every day? Can you keep your car clean every day? Take a walk every lunch break. Take one bad thing out of your diet, introduce one good thing. Can you say, I'm gonna read this book every day a little bit for 30 minutes? Whatever. Like, there's just a lack of discipline, consistency in our life that is needed sometimes to gain clarity. Because what you will notice is the more disciplined and consistent you get with the patterns and habits in your life, it's very easy to spot things that are non-essential. It's very easy to spot things and people that really don't add value to your life. Why? It doesn't fit in your system. Now, for some people, they're OCD and type A, and you need to do the opposite. You need to let go of control. But many people are, I would say more like me, where you just doing what you got to do in the day and in the moment. And these types of systems allow people and things who are not valuable to just infiltrate and come in your life and call you with the bullish and the nonsense, and talk negative about everything you do, and now you're negative and you're just rushing and you're always irritated and it's not enough time of the day and you need a break, you need a vacation. There's no order in your life. And when there's no order, there can be no calm. One thing I noticed about eating healthy, the healthier I ate, the more I saw, the more other people's non-healthy ways stood out to me. And it wasn't in me like judging them or anything like that. It was just like, damn, that was me. That was me. And in one choice that I made, I was able to now look and see the differences. So when I go and look at a menu, I'm like, all of this is not for me. Let me look at something that's kind of healthy, because it doesn't fit into what I'm trying to do. Some of y'all need to do that with your life. Your ultimate goal is what? I want to retire early, or I want to change career, or I want to go back to school. Well, you have to look at all the stuff on your menu in your day and see what fits your goal. Well, sitting up and talking on the phone with such and such is not going to get me closer to my goal. So I need to cut that out. Okay, being negative and hating my body, saying just talking down to myself is not going to help me love myself. I need to stop doing that. Like, some of y'all need to go through life and pick off or cross off things that you are doing and habits that do not contribute to your success. And success don't mean a lot of money. Success can absolutely mean getting one step closer to my purpose and my dreams and my goals. It has very little to do with your monetary gain, unless you just money driven, and that's a whole nother sermon. But for me, for Kat, I know my detox is I'm gonna start it again. I did 10 days. I kind of fell off a little bit. I lost some weight. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna try to, because it's not really a detox, it's really a change in lifestyle. That's a word for some of y'all right there. You need a whole change in lifestyle, in how you see yourself, how you speak to people, how you speak to yourself, how you see things, how you are. For some of you guys need to just take back your authority. You just walking around letting people just dictate how you feel, how you think. You think you get an attitude back with somebody else, but really you just weak. You're emotionally weak. You give up your peace and your joy too easy. I mean, to stupid things and stupid people. And then you sit back and act like your life is just tragic and just sad and just awful. And it's not. You're breathing. You're healthy. You have opportunity in front of you. You're in your right mind every morning. And some of you guys find no joy and no peace in that. And that's the trick of the enemy. So take some of that back. And the way you do that is you go through your checklist. I know what it's like to have a boss that you don't respect. Years ago, I was working at I was a leasing agent. Then I moved up to manager. I was doing property management, renting out apartments and property and stuff. And my manager she didn't even have a high school diploma. And I'm sitting up there in a graduate program about to get my master's degree. And I hated it. And I used to pray, God, fire her, Lord, so they could hire me. Because how they don't see the gifting in me. It wasn't until the very end that I realized it wasn't for me to be there. And sometimes we pray for the wrong thing. We're praying for or pursuing something that God's like, I can't bless you with that, because that's not where I have you. That's not where I want you. Praying for a promotion is God's like, I want you to start your own business. But, we've got it programmed in our mind. There's only one way out, and it got to happen like this. And when God doesn't do it like that, we feel like he forgot about us. And I damn sure have been there. Like, fine, fix it then. Like, because in my mind, I had it all worked out. Lord, if you would just go according to plan. But you and your blessings and your plans. Anyway, my prayer for whoever's watching, I would pray that you would be able to take a look at your life in its entirety. So the people, the things, where you work, how you feel, how you eat, what you drive, what your bank account looks like, your dreams, your goals. I mean, just take a look at it and rate it. How satisfied with your life are you? And if you find that you're on the lower end of the spectrum, anything less than 70%, you got to really reevaluate, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? I want, it's a lot of stuff I want in life, but the one thing I want that has nothing to do with money, excuse me, is on my deathbed. I want to know I did everything I was supposed to do. I created everything I was supposed to create. I encouraged who I was supposed to encourage. I forgave who I was supposed to forgive. I wrote the books. I did the speaking engagements. You know, everything I was supposed to do, I did. That's my goal in life. So in order for me to achieve that, I have to make sure that I'm getting everything out of every season. And I just think that society, if you're too locked into what's going on around you, you miss your own journey. Being infatuated in what the fuck is going on with other people. Sorry for my language, but it's the truth. Even being a black woman, there are some news stories I cannot bear to listen to because it's like PTSD. It's post traumatic stress disorder from watching all the violence. So I have to withdraw myself to remember I owe it to myself first to be whole, show up to be a whole wife, or be a whole mother. So there's some things I can't do and indulge in. I just can't. Take a look at your life. I'm sure it's plenty of things you can cross off your list. For me right now, I'm just focusing on food. I'm crossing off meat. I'm crossing off, flour. I'm crossing off, dairy. But I did this in my life a couple years ago when it came to friends, family, when it came to my job, when it came to the stress I was feeling from consuming the metaphorical, processed foods. There are people who you are consuming their energy in your diet it's killing you. It's toxic. Their energy, their presence. There are situations for some of y'all, if you're in school, I remember being in school and having to move seats because people were just like, okay, you're just a whole distraction. There were teachers who I couldn't stand, so I had to do my work and get up out of there. You know what I mean? So I know what it feels like to be like, okay, Kat, what if you notice the thing, but you got to deal with it? Well, that makes even more sense for you to be consistent and disciplined with your physical diet, with your, your relationship, so that you are going into these tough atmospheres charged to 100%. Some of y'all is going into jobs or classrooms or situations or relationships that you have to deal with, but you're going in half charged. And then you wonder why you so tired at night. I remember I was so stressed, I would wake up in the morning and feel like I had gotten a fight the day before. My body was tense and sore. I'm like, damn, did I get in a fight in my dreams? It was stress. It was stress. So, hey, everybody who just joined, I'm just telling y'all, I detox like physically or whatever from the food. And I'm giving like a parallel to how I tried to eat a piece of pizza this past weekend and got stupid sick. The meat and the cheese that was on it, I've always eaten my whole life. I had detoxed from it for a few days and already was sick consuming it. And sometimes we do that in the real world when we cut people and things off and then we let them come back. And then we wonder why we're stressed or we're sick. It's like, well, that person wasn't conducive to your diet, your new lifestyle. The only thing I don't like about veganism, I'll be honest with you, it's like sometimes vegans could be douchebags. Like, baby, most black vegans I know ain't vegan because we're trying to save the animals. We seen auntie, such and such with the diabetes and the sugars and the hypertension. So, me going vegan or getting there slowly has nothing to do with animals. It has everything to do with, okay, and so my twin has entered the chat, okay? Authority has entered the chat. And so, like, tonight I was going to make some mushroom tacos from a recipe she sent me. But, baby, veganism is expensive. So we came home and had some banana pancakes, 2 eggs and a banana mixed up. And that was a pancake. We had some hash browns and, some eggs. But my point is, though, like, going back to old ways in my diet made me sick. I was literally, I'm going to just tell y'all because y'all here, so y'all get the good stuff. I was on the toilet and I was like, okay, I got diarrhea. I get it. I ate the pizza. I get it. But I got so nauseous that I had to find some nausea medicine I had in the closet from when I had surgery 3 years ago. I was searching for just nausea medicine. I felt like I was getting ready to throw up my whole intestinal tract. cheese has never made me feel like that in my life. And so I'm just like, damn, like, okay, I can't do this anymore. It's the same thing with people. Some of y'all done cut people off, and this is harder when you're single. And I ain't been single for me and your uncle been together a long time. We've been together about 10 years. It's not real cheese anymore. No, it's not. You right. Me and your Uncle Lance been together a long time. But when I was single, I remember, talking to certain dudes and then be like, nah, I'm straight. And if they catch you at the right time, months in advance when you're lonely again, you'll entertain them. You're like, oh, I'm bored. Let me see what he's talking about. And it's the same thing. And it's like introducing cheese back into your diet after you done, detoxified from the nonsense. Sometimes my mom will call me and she'll get to ranting about something. I'd be like, all right, girl. Okay, now I'm not doing this with you. Exactly. Then be annoyed. Exactly. Exactly. I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad I'm not dating like that no more. Oh Lord Jesus, that's a whole nother. Let me stretch my hands to the people dating. May the Lord give you wisdom and discernment. Send it through the Instagram because because dating is something else. I know a few people that's single, but never mind. Anyway, so here's my tips for you. Let me sit up. My tips for you for today, for tomorrow, for this week. Be very aware of your dietary restrictions. Metaphorically speaking, philosophically, spiritually. Like, what can you not consume anymore? She done smacked them on the forehead. Yeah, I got to send the blessing out. Make sure it get through the Instagram feed live. What can you not consume anymore? And here's the thing. There are some people who get sick from cheese who know that they're lactose intolerant and still be like, oh, well. Like, ma'am, when you fart, it shouldn't smell like death. You're probably lactose intolerant. That's a whole other word where life is showing you, hey, this ain't working for you. And you just think, oh, it's just, you're so used to dysfunction. You're just like, oh, that's just how it is. It's like if you grew up around people verbally abusing you, when you go out into public and people do it, you just think that's just how life is, and that can be sad. So pay attention to the things that's going on that feels bad. Yeah, I'm walking heavy. Come on, authority is still in the chat. Okay. Number 2, one of my mentees called me last night. So Devontae called me last night, Leilani, and he was just saying, Kat, we have a young adult Bible study, and I have two gay people who started coming to Bible study, and I'm nervous. I said, what you nervous about? He's like, well, I'm nervous about messing it up. I said, messing what up? He was like, well, Christians have got a bad name from bashing gays, and I just want them to know I love them. I said, well, it's interesting that you wouldn't have called me if 2 people who were thieves was like, yo, I love Bible study, but I got to confess something, I be stealing. I'm a thief. You wouldn't have called me for help for that. I said, why? And he was like, well, I just feel like I can handle that. But, this over here, I just don't want to mess it up. And I was like, no, I don't believe that. So we kept talking and kept digging and kept digging and digging. And finally, once I revealed to him what it was really about, he was like, I noticed a theme, Kat. I was like, what is it? He was like, anytime I call you about a problem I'm having with something else or somebody else, you always start talking about me. And I was like, go on. And what I told him was, if your goal is to love somebody with the love of Christ, then in your mind, you just, you see it how God see it, which is all sin is, the same, right? But for some reason, you've elevated this particular situation as something that you have to put kid gloves on. And as I'm talking and ministering to him, I'm like, anytime you step outside of your authority, you stepped outside the will of God. And I was like, oh, that's powerful. So I was like, boy, I got to write that down for myself. So I finished talking to him. And, I was like, I'm going to share this with whoever listens. So if you're listening, this is the goods. What I came to realize and understand is whenever we put kid gloves on to handle certain people, situations, or even our own insecurities, oh, come on, Holy Spirit, we step outside the authority God has given us to break the chain or the stronghold in our life concerning that thing. And we think, okay, well, let me do it in a way that I don't hurt this person, or let me do it in a way where this person understands better, or let me, even when it's with your children and you're saying, I don't want to be like my mom or dad, so I'm going to say it different to my kid. But you immediately have altered a situation where God has brought you into conflict with this thing that he gave you victory over through the Holy Spirit. So I encourage you, if you're listening and watching and you're thinking to yourself, okay, Kat, there's this thing in my life I want to deal with. Number one, stop speaking about it as if, you don't have the authority within yourself to break it or to fix it or to remedy it. Even if it's a mindset. For him, I had to encourage him to say, don't put kid gloves on when you deal with them in Bible study. Treat them like everybody else. Love on them like everybody else. And as we kept digging, I let him talk. He finally revealed there was somebody in his past who was gay, who they're no longer friends because he felt like he was too hard on him. I said, do you think God ordained your paths crossing? You think God knew you was extra Christian, and a little bit too much, and God still brought him into your life? He was like, yeah. I said, so is it possible that in your ranting and your unforgiveness in yourself and who you used to be, God made sure he crossed paths with you so that he would encounter somebody who was anchored and steadfast in their belief? He was like, well, I didn't think of it like that. I said, and that's what the enemy is using to keep you from walking in that same authority and know-how in this new situation. Oh, come on, because I'm preaching to myself, and I know my twin gonna call me after this and go off on me. But the point I'm making is, when you step outside of authority in an effort to do the will of God, you stepped outside the will of God just like that. Just like that. Because now you're thinking it's in your soft voice that this person is going to, be delivered. Oh, it's in my ability to love them and not judge them. That's what's good. At the end of the day, it ain't even your authority that's going to allow them to choose right, because all the authority in the world didn't make Judas choose right, and he was led by the best leader, okay? He had the best leader and still had to choose ye this day. I'm getting a shirt. Oh, Lord, I need a shirt. So anyway, like that. So I know me and my best friend are literally having a whole conversation through this live right now. And we're going to probably talk another hour after this. But the point I'm trying to make is what I've learned for myself. And I'm putting it out there to all 6 of y'all. All 6 of you listen. The authority that you walk in, the grace that has been given to you for this season is all you really got. That's it. Because it ain't by your power or might or mental ingenuity. No way. When you step outside of that in order to accomplish a mission, you are literally telling God, like, yeah, I get it and believe in your power, but I have to manipulate this thing because really I don't believe in the power you given me to overcome, to speak it, to anything. Excuse me. And as a mother watching my husband parent my son, I have to be careful not to beckon him outside of his authority to do it in a way that I think it will best fit my son. What I'm saying is I didn't grow up with a dad. So sometimes I will get ready to fix my mouth to tell Lance to say something to Junior in a way that won't hurt his feelings or won't break him or hurt him. And I realize, hold on now, because he's just as much Lance's son as he is your son. So if in a moment he's thinking the best way to father my son is to attack something I see in him with authority, it may hurt you to see and watch. Don't call that man out of the will of God so that your feelings don't get hurt because you ain't have no daddy. I'm telling you, I'll be having these conversations with myself. I'm at practice like, ooh, okay. So then I ask myself, because it's how I think, so when has God ever done something or handled you in such a way that made you feel like you ain't had to do me like that? Wanting God to step outside of his nature, his natural way of knowing what's best for me so that it will appease my emotional instability. Come on. All the time. And that's how much. Everything God do to me, every time he break me, I'm like, you tripping. You ain't have to handle me like that. I'm done. Like the mad temper tantrum. And what I've realized is, one, I'm a little stronger than I've given myself credit for. But two, I realize, wow, I do that in the physical. And so maybe I'm responding to God like that as a child, So I'm giving y'all what I'm getting. I'm talking about real time. Boom, boom, boom as it's coming, because I'm thinking like, okay, I'm trying to put together this puzzle, y'all. and I will not cry on this live, okay? Because I have pepperoni in my system. Listen, it's blocking the tear ducts. There are things that are happening real time in the spirit. And although I wish it was 6,000 people on here listening, because I'm like, Lord, it's some good stuff. Right now it's 6. So I extend to you, okay, all of the knowledge and wisdom, okay, of my infinite consciousness. I extend it to you so you can walk with me in this season. Just know, don't step outside your authority in an attempt to make something happen. And let me let me give you this and I'm gonna be done. So last night I was arguing with myself. I was like, okay, miss, don't step outside your authority. What about, Peter? What about when Peter called himself in authority, saying, Lord, I ain't gonna let nobody take you. And the Lord, called him, you don't know what spirit you in. Get behind me, Satan. Because I'm saying to myself, okay, if this is a principle of God that God has given you, this is some prophetic word, it should work across the board. So I'm testing out the word the Lord gave me. I'm like, okay, what about Peter? Peter was in authority, and God called him Satan, right? Yes, Jesus rebuked him. So then the Holy Spirit in me was like, authority doesn't always mean standing up, being aggressive, and being a loudmouth. Because Joseph had a whole bunch of authority. So I'm laying in the bed like, come on, Oregon. I'm talking to myself in the bed last night like, dang, this is a real word. Because I have to test the word. I have to see, is this me or is it Lord? And Lord was like, there was an authority Joseph carried with him in his humility in the house of Potiphar. If you don't know that story, go read it. Okay. And in the house of Potiphar, the quieter Joseph got when he was not being wrong, he was wronged. But the quieter he got, the more his authority grew. The problem with us, can I just say this? Even with me, we don't deal a lot in the spirit. And I wish we had more older people who could help infiltrate this generation to teach us of things in the spirit. We're so finite as humans right now because we don't deal in quantum physics. We don't deal in spirituality. We don't deal in the stuff that's beyond what we can see. Let me say I don't. I scared the whole family and jumped when you shot. Yes, because you feel me, friend. We don't deal in the spirit. There are times when you are humble and you get interest. You get a return on your investment, but you don't see it because we don't deal in the spirit, right? And so when Joseph was at his humblest moment, there was some authority being added to his account that would later be able to manifest, okay, later on in the chapter. So what I'm telling you, what I'm extending to you is simply this. There are times when your authority calls for you to shut your mouth. Because I would love to cuss right there, but it would take away from the heaviness of what I'm saying. There are times where when you don't speak and you stand and just be, God is adding authority to your account. So that when it's time for you to stand up in that capacity and open your mouth and speak, you got some heaviness on you. Now you really calling down principalities and you really breaking strongholds. I can't wait for this debrief. Best friend, about to call you. So I'm telling you, all this happened last 24 hours, like I said. So y'all getting prime premium word, okay, on the Cat Branchman Network, okay? And what I'm telling you is, do not step outside your authority in an attempt to make something happen. Stay in the authority. But sometimes authority does not look like you don't, it ain't this. I have to do that. That's best. It's most black people watching this anyway right now. If you're not black, then it's, that's not always authority. Sometimes authority is in. Now that eye can twitch because the Lord know we human. Sometimes your eye be twitching and you be about to. And what happens is God looks at your heart and goes, oh, you mature, huh? Let me add some currency. Let me add a little bit more anointing to your mantle because you're carrying it in a way that I can trust you with it. When Peter misspoke, that was when Peter had a moment. If you notice in the Bible, Peter got things revealed to him because in the moment, he wasn't always chatty. Other people were talking. And then when Peter would speak, it was like, oh, okay, Peter. But in that moment, Peter was out of line. That was a moment for him to be. But sometimes, just like in practice, if you're doing good and coach keeps saying, good job, look at you showing out, you start getting big-headed and you mess up. And to me, that's just how I see that because that was me. Like, okay, calm down, teacher's pet. So, all that to say is Joseph is a great example of having super stupid authority. And there were times in the story where, from the outside looking in, from the naked eye, it looked like he was losing and he had no authority. But they tell you sometimes the biggest, baddest person in the room is the quietest one in the room. But that's another sermon. So I hope this blessed you. I'm about to download this, put it on YouTube. I'm about to call my best friend so she could yell at me because I'm finna be crying on the phone next week. Yep. Because I done forgot all of this. Because I always get people who be like, Kat, you blessed me 4 months ago when you said blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I said that? Dang. So that's cool. Sometimes I feel like, I'm going to just tell y'all this, I'm going to go. Sometimes I do feel like, though, the reason why I really believe in spirituality is not just because, oh, God and Jesus, but sometimes there are things that I'm able to pull down out of places and deliver into this realm that don't penetrate me hard enough to where I remember it. And when people tell me I said that, I don't believe them. And I believe that it's because we are spiritual beings. So this flesh, this part of me sometimes is not in sync or moving at the same speed that my spirit is. And so when it's getting delivered and it's getting filed and I'm giving it out to people, my flesh is like, what page 15 on? Like, so that's why I appreciate the reciprocity with people who watch me, and including my best friend, because they will regurgitate back to me something I gave. So my flesh, this part of me that's slow and deteriorating, but melanin is still popping, can help me stay abreast of the information and knowledge that I've given out. Now, that's just me using all the words in my lexicon because this is the way that I keep myself quick. Anyway, so I'm about to put this on YouTube right now. This was really, really good. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm about to call my best friend so she can yell at me, and I'm going to play stupid. I'm like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm laughing so hard right now because we are too old to be this happy to get on the phone with each other. But when you find a good friend like that, all right. So I love you guys. Like, subscribe, and share. And yes, I have to say this after every live. When I get famous and I blow up, I will not be answering people's DMs. So just, if you got any questions, you better ask Mother now. Okay? In fact, I don't even know if I'm going to be running my own account. Okay? I'm going to be live. And I'm going to have a book. And I'm going to have would y'all judge me if I got real churchy like that? I could never really be churchy like that. I couldn't be churchy like that. When I sweat too much. But two, I joke too much to be one of those type of pastors. I don't think that any church would have me like that because I'll be really wanting to do some comedy. It's funny, real quick, and then I get off. My kids were talking about, I said, describe to me how you think God is. They said, what do you mean, Ma? I said, tell me the character traits you think God has. So they were like, big, deep voice, his body is as big as the sky. And then my son goes, I ain't gonna lie, I think that guy is a white man on a chair with a white mustache and a white beard and some white hair. And I was like, thank you for being honest. Yet it was like, I don't think he white. I think he like clear, but however you see him is like how he is. I was like, okay, go on. So we're just talking about the character traits of God. So then I asked the kids, I said, how would you describe mommy? And the kid, I picture you with the book and the glasses. Ooh, that's when I'm like 70 though. Right now, I got a few more ratchet years left in me. So I said, can you describe me? So they're going to describe me. And one of them goes, funny. Oh, Mom, you're a comedian. You're funny. I said, so, okay, you describe God like this, but I'm funny. Do you think I'm the first person that God put funny in? Like I'm going to put comedy in Miss Cat. And they were like, no, God probably is funny then too. Because if he's the originator, then he probably funny too. And so my son goes, you think God got a sense of humor, Mom? I said, well, look at your mom. He's like, I never thought of it like that. And in that moment, I was like, I wish this is something that I could tell other people, is that how we see God is usually how you see the dominant parent or the person who raised you. Side note. I said, but there are so many traits of God that we haven't experienced, that we limit him to who he can be in our life. And this is my belief. I haven't really found it biblically yet, but I believe that God can only be to you what you see him as. Let me give you an example of what I mean, and because I'm not trying to be a blasphemous heathen and make up parts of the Bible. What I'm saying is, if I was raised by a really strict parent, which I was, for years, I only saw God as a really strict parent. For years, I only saw God as, looking at me, checking off lists. Are you doing this? You not punishing you? Yeah, you get a blessing, but the blessing that I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna make you earn it. You're gonna suffer for it, and then when you get it, it's gonna balance it all out. Like for years, I saw God like that, and it wasn't until I read my Bible and encountered believers in God who loved on me that broke that mold or the glasses that I was viewing God in. Now, although those glasses broke, all that happened is when I took those off, another pair was right there. Because as we grow, we really see the true, personality of God. But I want to encourage you as you watch me, Cap Branchman, and my family. I ask that you see us as shades of God, colors of God. So I like to think of myself as like a hunter apple green, neon green sometimes. Sometimes it's spring green. That's my favorite color. When you see my family, it's like a, bright yellow or, burnt orange. Like we are all different shades and hues of God, which is just a reflection of his light. If we're really going to talk about light, we should talk about prisms. But that's cool. We like to talk about the moon. That's cool. So when you see me and you're like, I really like that girl. Well, can I refer you back to my creator? Because there are people sometimes who hit me up in the DMs and pull on me, sometimes for financial resource, sometimes for a word, and sometimes I can give it to them. But if I can point you back to the source, you ain't got to wait for me to answer in the DMs. Come on, Holy Spirit. Okay, I know a DM. It hit the organ. Okay, I know someone who always answers his DMs. Okay, and it ain't me. So I encourage you to find out who God is to you, have a relationship with him personally. Never rely on one person to be your medium, okay, between you and God, because there's already one. It's the Holy Spirit that intercedes on your behalf. And number two, if I could be really honest, whenever you put somebody on a pedestal like that, God be like, oh, this is your everything. This is who you, this is a person, and they be gone. I don't want the Lord taking me out on your behalf. I am nobody's God, okay, child? Because I done went on a detox from cheese, and turned right around next week and almost killed myself eating some cheese. So good and gosh darn well, okay, I ain't no deity goddess. No ma'am, no sir. Okay, yes, go to God for everything, child, because he is able. I am not. Love y'all. Have a great evening. Let me call my best friend so we can sit and talk about this word. I love you guys. Girl, kiss them twin babies for me. I hope one day we can go to lunch so I can just hug on them because they are so cute. She know who I'm talking to. And thank you for everybody who follows me. I ain't been live in a while, but that's because I've been just taking some time. I'm going to get it together, y'all. Okay, y'all. Love y'all. See you later. Peace.